evening, everybody, and welcome to this point in the season, the biggest night of the 2019-2020 campaign. It is rivalry night in Metamora as our arch rivals, the Washington Panthers, are in town to take on our Metamora Lady Redbirds. Washington enters this one 11-3, 2-2 overall after a frustrating loss in Hawkins Gym in Pekin. 1-point loss in overtime on a buzzer-beating 3 by Pekin's Taylor Goss. Metamora coming off a thrilling come-from-behind victory at Bloomington Central Catholic. This will be a big one. Redbirds could solidify, I want to say, second place. Canton plays Dunlap. So whoever wins that game and Metamora would be tied if Metamora and the winner of that game would both be 4-1 in conference play. And of course, we don't really want to look ahead, but we can kind of look ahead for this imminent moment that the Metamora Lady Redbirds are at the #1 team in the state, and mind you, #1 team all 4 classes in the Morton Lady Potters this Saturday. 5 for sophomores, 6:30 for varsity. Charlie Dreyer will make the return to the booth for that one, and he and I will call Lady Redbirds at Lady Potters. So once again, Alex Dobb, everybody back here at Temke Gym for another exciting night of Lady Redbird basketball. This is one of 3. You heard that right, 3 remaining home games the entire rest of the regular season for Metamora. Tonight, then February 1st, we host Morton, and then February 14th, we host Canton, and that's it for the home schedule. So the home season is winding down, and I don't want to say anything officially, but what the heck, this has got to break the Brianna Morrow era attendance record. I was just telling Brad Marshall's back behind the camera tonight, and I was telling him before we went on the air that I've been doing this for 6 years, same tenure as Bree's been here as head coach, and we have never seen a crowd this big. You know, the Morton game last year here drew a few less people, but this is by far the biggest crowd we've had in the last 6 seasons. So obviously it's Vidal Paulino night as well. His brother Ish is going to speak here in just a couple minutes. We'll have that for you when the time comes. But obviously, like I said on my social media, a very big night on 2 fronts as they conduct fundraising efforts for the Paulino family. And we also have a very big basketball game ahead of us as 2 arch rivals duke it out once again, Redbirds and Panthers. Metamora getting that Bloomington Central Catholic game down a decent chunk. It was 25-16 at halftime. And then, boy, the Lady Redbirds exploded in the third quarter to a 20-point third quarter, paced by 6 points from Katie Ramage. Kayla Pasha had 5 in that quarter as well. And again, just a 2-point third quarter for the Saints. If they can force the Washington Panthers into any kind of a situation like that, well, it'll be interesting to see how this one turns out. Obviously, Washington's a very good basketball team. We'll talk with Coach Morrow in just a little bit how the new polls came out today and Washington is receiving votes. So this would be a very big win for Metamora. And also, you really look at the Metamora-Washington rivalry, it doesn't matter what sport or extracurricular activity they meet in. Records are out the window, recent games are out the window, polls, points, whatever terminology you want to use, it's all out the window. It's Metamora-Washington 0-0, 0-0. We'll see what happens. So before we get going, here is our pre-recorded chat with the head coach of the Lady Redbirds, Brianna Morrow. All right, welcome to Metamora here with head coach Brianna Morrow. And coach, this is one of those games that, you know, I'd tell you last year, especially with the Morton series as well, it doesn't take much to give these girls mental preparation for this one, does it?
No, this is always one that the kids get excited for. The kids seem to be up for, they seem to be ready for. So, you know, when you're playing a rival, I don't have to do a lot as a coach to try to get them fired up and ready to go.
This obviously a big night on 2 fronts with the fundraising efforts for Vidal and his family.
Right.
Your thoughts on kind of how things have gone with this night? Because, I mean, this is already our best crowd of the year, and it hopefully will get bigger.
Yeah, you know, I am blown away by this group of players. Their hearts are so amazing. And, you know, Vidal he's a manager for us. And he's been a big part of this team. You know, he's not a kid that just randomly came. He's a kid that's here 24/7. He's a kid that works. He's a kid that genuinely cares about this group of girls, his friends. And he works his butt off to make sure that they have everything they need. It doesn't matter what I ask, he will do. And he's their biggest supporter. And so for him, for this group of girls to be, you know, to want to do stuff for him has been absolutely amazing. And to watch these girls come together and organize and coordinate all of it, because I didn't do any of it. The girls did. I mean, they did almost everything. And so it was just so amazing, and I'm so proud of them for what they've done for him.
What kind of inspiration can that draw, both from the girls' perspective, looking at how strong he's been through this whole process, at the same time using it as inspiration to go play for him in a big game tonight?
Well, you know, it's a great reminder that what we do in basketball and so in athletics, we get so focused on the wins and losses and think that what we do is the most important thing and that we get all wrapped up in it. And really, you know, you find out that, you know, this is just a small part of lives, you know, and as coaches, yes, we want to win and we want to teach X's and O's, but what these kids have done today and for this family, I mean, a lot of my kids have been in and out of the hospital, visiting him, visiting the family. They've been in touch, you know. So that, to me, taking care of people that you love, doing things for people that you love, that's such a bigger lesson, you know, that this group of girls is going to take with them for the rest of their lives. And technically in coaching, it's X's and O's, but we all know deep down that what we're doing is preparing these kids for life, and that that's the most important job that we have. And this group of kids is just, they get that. And they're, you know, they love the people, you know, and they are loyal, and they take care of the people that they love. And that's what being a community is all about. That's what our school's all about, and you know, that's what you want your team to be all about. And so I'm so proud of what this group of kids have done.
Switching things over to the hardwood, talking about the game tonight, this is obviously a very good team. New polls came out today. They're still receiving votes. Right. But they're coming off that tough loss to Pekin. How much of your guys' preparation now becomes how playing angry they almost might come out as after losing that game that probably a good consensus of people would say they should not have lost?
You know, on paper they shouldn't have lost, but Pekin, they've got some good players, and they do some nice things, and they're working hard. You know, Pekin is starting to consistently work hard and do some nice things, and so you know, their coach has done a great job with them. And you know, Pekin is probably better than what people think. I really feel that Pekin is better than what people think. But yeah, Washington's a good ball club. You know, they lost quite a bit, just as we did. But they still have some really nice pieces back. They've got a lot of sophomores on the floor. They've got a couple freshmen, you know, and they've got a couple juniors and seniors that are really, really tough. And so this tonight will be a tough game, you know, and this group of kids, we've just talked about getting better each game and the things that we need to do to get better, to become a better basketball club as we move forward and focus on those end of the season goals.
This Panther team has some pretty versatile players, whether it be in the guard area with players like Kaylee Baker, whether it be down low with one of the McDougals, as well as kind of floating around at a almost a 3, if anything. And so how do you kind of deal with those kind of personalities in the sense of how do you have to prepare for players of that magnitude?
Well, it just means that nobody can take a possession off. Nobody, you know, there's not that one weak player that you can, you know, say, hey, you don't really have to guard this kid. You can double on somebody else. They've got 5 kids and, you know, 6, 7 kids that can score and that can put the ball on the floor and that can shoot the ball. And so when Washington's hitting, they are incredibly dangerous, you know, so they are a tough team, and they're physical and they're strong and they're incredibly athletic. You know, the Scribner girl, she's legit. She's good. You know, she can put up big numbers. Baker on any given night can put up big numbers, and those are 2 kids you got to stay in front of. And then you add Georgia Duncan,
who we haven't even mentioned yet somehow.
Who we haven't talked yet, who is, you know, probably their leading scorer, who's incredibly talented inside. She can go inside, she can go out. She's an incredibly talented kid. And then you add the younger McDougall to the mix. You know, you add Kimler, you know, like there's just a lot of pieces, you know, Lucy Wilson. I mean, these kids are really, really talented, and they play hard, they play aggressive, and they all can put the ball on the floor, and they all can shoot. So you don't get to just take possessions off. You don't get to just coast. Tonight is going to be a battle, and I'm really anxious, with as young as we are, to see how we handle, you know, the ranked opponent, the team that's higher than us. You know, they beat a lot of teams. They had a really good Galesburg tournament, so they're capable of a lot. And so this is going to be a really great challenge for us, and I'm so excited to see how our kids respond.
Kind of talking about how things rolled off of the Central Catholic game, I think this is a Washington team that if we play like we played in that first half of that Central Catholic game, this one's going to spiral out of control quick, right? So how do you make sure that doesn't happen, I guess?
Well, I think the big thing is just understanding what we're focusing on, understanding what our goals are, and going out and executing. Really talking about executing. You know, we just talked to the kids about, we can't worry about, you know, the next play or the previous play or the scoreboard or anything like that. You have to focus on what is currently happening. What am I, you know, I can't be focused on offense because I'm focused on defense. Right now in the moment, I've got to be focused on this possession of defense. And then I'll focus on the next, the possession of offense that I'm on. So you can't be focusing on anything else because then you've already lost. You've lost that possession if you're focused on something else. So just being present in the moment, doing our jobs really, really incredibly well, being so fundamentally sound, that's so huge for us. And it's really important and something that we've got to be focused on. And as we continue to get better as a team, that's what we want to focus on.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time. Good luck. We'll talk to you after the game. Welcome back to Metamora. Alex Staub here as we get ready for tip-off. Redbirds and Panthers take another run through the statistical leaders for the Lady Redbirds. Kayla Pasha, 77 twos. After the performance against Central Catholic last Friday, Katie Ramage now leads the three-point category with 16. And then Kayla Pasha continues her good shooting run at the charity stripe, 27 for 43. And then Kayla and Katie both tied for the team high in scoring down to the exact point. Both Pasha and Ramage have 181 points on the year, good for 10.6 points per game. Lady Redbirds are on a great three-point shooting clip. They're only 19 threes from tying the mark of threes hit last season by a very good three-point shooting team. They're at 64 right now. Another notable stat, 116 for 160 from the free throw line. That's over 70%. And they've hit the 900 point mark exactly. They've hit 900. That's good for 52.9 points per game. So obviously they're playing good ball right now. They've won 7 in a row and 11 of their last 12. And you could even go as far as to say 13, well, let me do this math right. 13 of their last 15. So obviously they're playing really good ball right now, and a very good Washington Panther team is in town. So it'll be a good measuring stick as to how this game goes in terms of where this team is at and where this team could be. And I think, like I said, it would be a very big win for the Lady Redbirds. Probably a big win for the Panthers as well. Obviously, any win in the rivalry is going to be a good one. So we'll see how that turns out. So, like I said, great crowd, great night, great cause. And of course, this, you could argue, on two, like I said, on two fronts, with the Vidal Polino fundraising and then the Metamora Washington, you could argue one of the biggest rivalries in the state of Illinois. Meet tonight, write a new chapter. Who's going to take the advantage in this next chapter? Will it be the Redbirds? Will it be the Panthers? Obviously, the headline last couple of years was having Ann Peters transferred from Washington. The Lady Redbirds had never beaten Washington since her transfer. You'll hopefully very easily recall the Lady Redbirds did beat Washington at Washington on their senior night, so that was a very big win. We're going to send it down to public address announcer Charlie Dreyer and Ish Polino for our pregame recognition.
Of the Illinois High School Association and your Middle Illini Conference. We encourage players and fans to demonstrate great sportsmanship throughout this contest, no matter what their personal feelings or loyalty may be. Thank you for coming to tonight's event and also supporting such an important cause to the Metamora on behalf of Vidal Polino and his family, I'd like to turn the microphone over to his older brother, Ishmael. Please give Ishmael a round.
Hello, everyone. Sorry. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming out. This means the world to us. It's not just me, my family, and to everyone. Thank you, Washington, for being here. Thank you, Lady Redbirds. You're the best. Putting this out. And even to the Washington parents, thank you guys for being here. I just wanted to briefly talk about what my brother's been going through for most of his life. He was born with a congenital heart defect, which means that his heart was on the wrong side. He was born with his heart on the wrong side. And he basically like wires and like the type of valves were switched around. Basically what we had to go through on December 10th of this year, well, last year, he had an open heart surgery, and basically it was to replace the pulmonary and aortic valves in his heart. We had to go through Christmas in the hospital, which was, I mean, you see that sometimes in TV films, right? And you think you would probably never have to go through that, but we had to go through that. But I feel like we were supposed to, and I feel like it was meant for us to do it because, I mean, look around. I mean, you see even you guys, Washington, and the support for not just our family, but for everyone, and just me and Vidal and his help. It's just something really special, and I can't thank you guys enough for everything. I just wanted to say, like, I was just with him a couple hours ago. He's doing very well. He had a good surgery procedure 2 days ago. They closed up his chest, which was basically open for about 2 to 3 weeks, and to clean out a lot of the clotting and everything like that. So I just wanted to say for people to just keep praying for him, keep praying for our family, but just pray in faith, not in fear, guys, because that's important. We can't just be, fearful in our prayers and our thoughts and our words, because we have power. Words have power, and we have impact around each and every one of us. So that's basically it. I just wanted to, again, for me and my family, we just so appreciate you guys. Let's just have a great night tonight.
So again, a great job by Ish there, and obviously a great crowd to recognize this great event. Here's the national anthem, and then we'll take it over for starting lineups.
Elise Palmer and Mr. Jackson Languish.
And now the starting lineups, we're going to start with the Visitors and our arch rivals, the Washington Panthers, again coming in receiving votes in the latest state polls. And their starting lineup looks like this. Again, head coach is Kimberly Barth in her 4th season, 67-36 career record at the helm of the Panthers. And their record is 11-3 overall, 2-2 in the middle Illini. Their starting lineup like this. Allie Scrivener, 5'7" junior guard. Kaylee Baker, a 5'6" senior guard. Georgia Duncan, a 6' sophomore guard. Jay Wilson, a 5'3" sophomore guard. And Claire McDougal. Probably my pregame player to watch if we do pick one. 6' freshman guard for the Panthers. Back to the usual starting lineup. For the Lady Redbirds, it looks like this. Lexi McClure, the 5'5" senior guard, averaging 4.2 points per game. Katie Lalamandir, the 5'3" sophomore guard, averaging 3.6 points per game. Caitlin Pesha, the 5'11" sophomore forward, averaging a team-high 10.6 points per game. Katie Ramage, the 5'9" freshman guard, also averaging a team-high 10.6 points per game. And Alana Terry, 5'11" junior forward, averaging 8.6 points per game. Once again, the Redbirds on a good tear here. 900 points on the year, averaging 52.9 per game. They're getting ready to introduce the starting 5 for Metamora. Again, packed house here at Tempe Gym. So McClure, Lalamandir, Pesha, Ramage, and Terry. That lineup combined for, well, let's see here, 9, 24, 34, 48, almost all of Metamora's points in that win over Central Catholic. So obviously that's great, and boy, if they can get the bench scoring too, that would be pretty darn good. Again, this would be a pretty big win for the Lady Redbirds, probably biggest to this point of the year. And again, you'll see it throughout the evening, but our side is basically, well, I don't think there's an empty seat left, except for maybe over there by the entryway, and then the Washington side is a little over half full. So a great crowd, like I said, probably the greatest crowd this program has seen since Brianna Morrow became our head coach. So obviously that's great to see, and it should be a very fun night for some basketball as this great rivalry writes another chapter. Officiating crew tonight is going to be Nick McDuffie, Bill Seiler, and Rick Smolchek. Georgia Duncan will jump for the Panthers. Lady Redbirds will send out Kayla Pesha. And we are underway, rivalry night on a Monday evening, or Tuesday evening. Where am I? Tuesday evening here in Metamora. Katie Lalamandir on top of the key. Again, Redbirds and Panthers. Teams split this meeting last year. Panthers won here last year. Redbirds won in Washington. Back to Lalamandir. Now McClure, now Ramage. Back to Lalamandir. Again, Panthers coming out with pretty good defense here in the opening possession. Ramage finds Terry. Alana can't go down low. Now she's going to have to kick it back out. Ramage to McClure. And the Redbirds will reset. Lalamandir to Pesha. Back to Ramage. Ramage to Terry, left wing. Alana's got the lane if she wants it. Nah. Pass misjudged to Pesha. Turnover out of bounds. It'll go to the Panthers. So again, one more time, the 5 for the Panthers: Scrivener, Baker, Duncan, Wilson, and McDougal. This is Wilson that gets it across. Nice job defensively by Alana Terry. It went off Alana, so out of bounds it'll stay with Washington. 6:49 to go in the first quarter. We're still looking for our first points. Great student section as well. It's up to the top of Tepke Gym. So that's great to see. Wilson into the corner with Scrivener. Now Georgia Duncan. Kaylee Baker, right wing, 3 ball is no good. Rebound Duncan underneath, blocked by Terry, and Duncan gets her own rebound. Put back on Ramage, no good. Rebound Alana Terry. Lady Redbirds are running, Ramage to Pesha. Now Alana Terry has the lane. Alana, good! Lady Redbirds have their first points of the ball game and draw first blood on their rivals 2-0. 6:33 to go in the first quarter. Georgia Duncan the other way almost turns it over, holds on to the ball. Now Wilson works it over to Scrivener. That's McDougal posting up. Again, my pregame player to watch for the Panthers. Baker, corner three is good. And Panthers take the lead right back, 3-2, 6:12 to go in the first quarter. Almondier now Ramage. McClure, again, the Panthers very good defensively here in the opening couple of minutes. Alana Terry out on the wing. Pesha, not much movement from the Redbirds. McClure has the lane. Two is blocked out of bounds by Georgia Duncan. So stay Lady Redbird basketball. 5:45 to go in the first quarter. 3-2 Panthers. Ramage in the Pesha out of bounds turnover. Scrivener on the inbound to McDougal. Now Duncan tries to spin away, does turn it over. This is going to be a foul, and the Panthers are jumping on Katie Ramage. It's on number 13, Georgia Duncan. That's her first, team's first. So Lady Redbirds will inbound. Again, we've played about 3 minutes, only 5 points. Credit to the defense, especially for Washington, to keeping the Redbirds at 2 for now. Pesha to Lalamandir. Terry on the cut, turnover. Stolen McDougal, who just about went out of bounds. Baker knifes through the Redbird defense, gives it off McDougal to Duncan, baseline 2. Good. Five to 2 Panthers, 5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Lalamandir to Ramage. Up top, Terry. Now Pesha. McClure cuts. They don't get it to her. Now up top to Katie Ramage again. Ramage pull up 2, short. Rebound tips to Claire McDougal. Now the Panthers are running. Kaylee Baker into the corner. Georgia Duncan way too open, but somehow misses it. Rebound Lexi McClure pushed in the back. Doesn't matter. She gets the rebound and throws it to Alana, who throws it right back to her. McClure to Pesha to Terry, left elbow. Nice drive by Alana. It's going to draw a blocking foul on Washington. It's on number 23. That's Claire McDougal, her first, team's second. It'll be a baseline inbound for the Lady Redbirds. Tie it up with a 3, 1 point deficit with a 2. And Alana Terry underneath, no good. Rebound Claire McDougal. Up ahead, Kaylee Baker, their very talented point guard. 3 ball, no good, and that's off McDougal. It'll be Redbird ball. Again, Baker, McDougal, Duncan. It's kind of hard to pick a player to watch. Those that might remember in the sophomore game last year, Allie Scrivener had a big 3 to force overtime in that preceding game. Lady Redbirds won by, I want to say, in the teens today, as Wilson gets a steal on Lalamandir. And Katie takes the charge. That's a way to get back. Fouls on Wilson. That's her first, team's third. So 3 Panther starters with 1 foul apiece here in the first half of a quarter. Could say 1/8 of a game, but whatever. Ramage almost turned over. Pass tipped right back to her. McClure. Redbirds moving a little better this possession down. Lexi will direct the offense some more. They screen for her. Now Alana at the elbow. Alana drives and kicks, does she? Yep. And that's going to be a travel on Lexi. Turnover to Washington. Again, 3-point game, 5-2 Panthers, 3:24 to go in the first quarter. Scrivener to Baker. Redbird showed the press. Almost forces a turnover there. And that's going to be a foul. Oh, no, they don't call it. Okay, we'll take it. Need to get back, though. McDougal way too easy on the baseline. Claire McDougal for 2 at 7-2 Panthers. 3:04 to go first quarter. Ramage up top, Lallemand-Deer. Terry. McClure left block, blocked out of bounds, Kaylee Baker. .254, 5-point game. And that'll bring Grace Tyra off the Redbird bench, our first sub of the game, and she replaces Alexi McClure. So Tyra, Terry, Ramage, Lallemand-Deer, and Pesha. Tyra on the inbound. Finds Terry underneath. Alana, a lot of contact. They'll just call it a block. Tyra's got to get it out of the lane. Does. Lallemand-Deer for 2, no good. Rebound McDougal. She's got quite a few of those here early. Georgia Duncan, Allie Scribner. No good. Rebound Kayla Pesha. And has it stolen away. Kaylee Baker for 2, no good. Rebound Katie Ramage. Redbirds are pushing. Ramage, fadeaway 2, kind of a fadeaway anyway. Rebound Allie Scribner. I think Redbirds need to slow it down a little bit. Maybe not defensively, because that's obviously carried them to quite a few victories to this point of the season, but offensively anyway. Duncan from the free throw line is good. 9-3, 9-2 Panthers. That's going to be a Redbird timeout. 30-second timeout with 2:04 to go in the first quarter. And the 2 from Alana Terry is it. Lady Redbird's not off to a great start here. Again, I think the shot selection could probably improve a little bit also. I'd like to see things maybe slow down a little bit offensively. Make that quality Washington defense that kept this to 2 points this game, make them earn those stops defensively. Don't just try and rush things and create turnovers and such. And obviously, like I said, if you're looking at it from the Washington perspective, the defense has been phenomenal to this point. Lady Redbirds essentially have not been able to solve it outside of, maybe little minor things here and there, but they've only been able to get 1 bucket off this defense here in the first 6 minutes of play, so we'll see if that changes. 2:04 first quarter, 9-2 Panthers. Lady Redbirds with the basketball. See our first Washington sub, Cami Marshall, next dead ball. Ramage to Tyra, thought about the 3. Grace down low, Alana. Lana Terry, muscling it up. 2 is no good, but we got a foul. Ellie McDougal. That's her first, team's 4th. Apologies, I didn't notice that she had been subbed in. Must have been out of the timeout. 2 shots, Alana Terry. First one up and rolls in. So that will bring in Cami Marshall for the Panthers, and she'll replace Allie Scribner. 1 more free throw for Alana. Again, 19 for 24 from the line entering today's game. That one's short. Here is Leah Jones as well into the game. Wilson, baseline 2, no good. Rebound, Wilson. And then Lallemand-Deer for the block. That shouldn't be a shooting foul. I mean, it's not going to be the end of the world if it's not. Or if it is, I mean. Blocking foul on the Lady Redbirds on Katie Lallemand-Deer. That's her first, team's first. Baseline inbound for the Panthers as we see Leah Yanko in for Metamora and replacing Alana Terry. Be a baseline inbound for Leah Jones, 5'9" sophomore for the Panthers. Gets it in, almost turned over. Ellie McDougal works it up top. Wilson to Jones for 3, no good. Rebound, too easy of a rebound. Panthers getting way too many looks underneath. Rebound, Leah Yanko tips to Katie Lallemand-Deer, who's fouled. Oh, wow, that is not a travel if it's induced by the opposing team. But they can call the travel anyway. There was way too much contact on Katie for Katie to travel on her own. But it'll be an out of bounds for Washington. Duncan to Baker to Jones. Down Duncan, almost turned over, probably should have been. And the Panthers still have it. Jones to Baker. Now Duncan long 2, good. Panthers are rolling here early, 11-3, 1:03 to go first quarter. Allmandier to Tyra. Now Yanko. Ramage up top. Screened by Duncan is screened, I should say. Dangerous cross-court pass to Allmandier. Kick out Tyra. Thought about pulling up for two. Now Yanko under a minute. Pesha to the hoop. Kayla and the foul. So 2 free throws on the way for the Redbirds. That'll be on Ellie McDougal. That's her second, team's 5th. So Kayla Pesha will shoot 2 free throws for Metamora. Again, just 1 field goal here in the first quarter. That is not good. Pesha first to 2 is rolled in. Scrivener returns for the Panthers, and we also see Claire McDougal return as well. Lexi McClure back in for Katie Ramage. Free throw good for Pesha. Again, Kayla, by makes and attempts, has been the Lady Redbirds' best shooter in that regard. 11-5, turnover. Tyra got to pass fake those. They were reading that all the way. Haley Baker, and they're gonna, oh wow, that's a late call. Right call, but late. Leah Yanko with the personal, that's her first, team second. Because see, as you can tell, as you're watching this, I thought they were gonna call the travel because of how late the whistle came in, but they ended up calling the foul anyway. Leah Jones inbounds Kaylee Baker. 15 seconds, Panthers likely gonna hold for the final shot of our opening quarter. Baker. Fell for the student section trick, but then the Redbirds get called for a foul. And then the ref's gonna give Yanko a warning, but she can be frustrated with herself. You don't have to give her a warning thinking it's directed at you. And she has every right if she's frustrated like that. Yanko's second personal, third team, and free throws for the Panthers. Baker. First one's no good. I mean, because you could pretty clearly tell that was personal frustration. That wasn't frustration that she had gotten called for a block. Baker, one more. That one is also no good. Rebound Leah Yanko for the buzzer beater. McClure is going to be well off. And that'll do it for the first quarter. Not a good opening 8 minutes for the Lady Redbirds, but they're still within reach. 11-5 after a quarter. Back here in Metamora, very low scoring first quarter. You could pretty much say that for both teams, as even though Washington off to the better start offensively, they only have 11 points. So obviously do the math there, and they're one less 2-pointer away from a single-digit quarter as well. But I think the story of the opening 8 minutes has got to be that Washington Panther defense. It's pretty much been swallowing up any chance of Metamora having a good possession offensively to this point of the game. Again, Metamora with just 1 field goal. They have a 2-pointer from Alana Terry early, and that's it right now. It'll be Panther ball to begin the second quarter. There you go, Kaylee Baker. Okay, so Baker, Wilson, Scrivener, Claire McDougal, and Georgia Duncan. This is Kaylee Baker on the wing. Nice look to Scrivener. Allie Scrivener, baseline drive. Maybe have been able to call a block on Grace Tyra there, but they don't. Baker over to Duncan. Nice idea, but it's turned over. Stolen by Lexi McClure. Lexi down floor, dangerous pass to Grace Tyra. Redbirds again, got to slow it down offensively. I think they're going way too fast on offense. Katie Ramage will reset. Over to Lexi McClure. Grace Tyra thought about the fake and drive, now goes over to Allmandier. Allmandier, tight defense by Wilson. About as tight as you can get without being a foul. Tyra tipped off the Panthers. It'll be Redbird ball. Kayla Pasha will return and replace Grace Tyra. So it'll be a baseline inbound for the Redbirds. McClure to Pasha. Kayla to the hoop. And they're going to say a block on the Panthers. I should say the Panthers blocked the shot. My grammar's not the best tonight, folks. Wilson to McDougal to Scrivener. Had space, but elects to pass up for a Baker three, which is no good. Now Lallman on the fast break to Pasha. Right block, good. And the foul. I didn't think they were going to call it, but they call it. Kayla Pasha and one, and then the foul on Kaylee Baker. So almost every Washington starter has a foul, and on top of that, Metamora is in the bonus the rest of the half. One free throw for Pasha. No good. Rebound, Katie Ramage. Fouled by Baker, but the ref doesn't have a good angle. If the one ref would have been, because if I remember these gentlemen's names right, Bill Seiler is the one on the sideline. He didn't have a great angle on it, and then Rick Smolchek was behind the play, so he didn't have a great angle on it either. Otherwise, they probably would have called a foul. McClure to Pasha baseline, almost travels. Lexi, up top Katie, 6:20 second quarter. Lallman to Pasha. Working it across, Dan stolen. Easy steal for Scrivener. One-on-one with Lallman. Does Katie take another? She doesn't. That's out of bounds on Metamora. Oh no, Scrivener just threw it out of bounds. Scrivener just threw it out of bounds, and the good call. Very good call. Scrivener just threw it out of bounds. If anything against Metamora, it would have been a block on Katie Lallman. There was no contact. No contact with the ball, so Metamora basketball. Lallman to Terry. Terry to the hoop, has space. Shooting foul. It's on number 20, Wilson. That's her second, team's seventh. So McDougal with two, Baker with one, Duncan with one, Wilson with two, and Claire McDougal with one as well. Alana Terry, first one up and in. 33, that's Cammie Marshall back into the game and replaces, looks like, G. Wilson. One more free throw for Terry. In. 2-point game. As to how we've made this a 2-point game on just 2 field goals, you'll have to ask somebody else. Georgia Duncan out to Cammie Marshall. Again, those cross-court passes always dangerous, but the Panthers make it work. Baker for 3. 5-point game, 14-9, 5:33 until halftime. Lallman to Terry. Thought about driving. Thought about it again. Nice give down low to Kayla Pasha. That should be a blocking foul on Cammie Marshall. They don't call it, and the Panthers are going to get a rebound. Kaylee Baker up floor. Georgia Duncan on the baseline. Now Cammie Marshall to Allie Scrivener. 3 is up and 3 is no good. Baker went over the back. They don't call it, and it's out of bounds off her. So Redbirds will inbound. And again, our saving grace on that call, Nick McDuffie was in the right spot at the right time, because if he was anywhere behind that play, that would have been out of bounds off Metamora, would be my guess anyway. Katie Ramage to Lexi McClure. Almost crosses over Baker. Alana Terry up top. And turnover. Got to be strong with the ball. But we get it back. Pasha to Lallman. Katie to the hoop. Almost travels. Now Lexi. Lexi to Alana. Alana has space. Blocking foul. Another foul on the Panthers. It's on Allie Scrivener. That's another Panther starter having committed a foul. So all 5 have at least one foul. Scrivener with 1, Baker with 1, Duncan with 1, Wilson with 2, and McDougal with 1. And Alana Terry back to the free throw line. First one's good. Grace Tyro back in for Lexi McClure. One more for Alana. Looks short, and it is. But rebound, Katie Ramage. Put back, go, no good. Rebound, Claire McDougall. This is Kaylee Baker to Georgia Duncan. Skirtner for three, looks good, no good though. And that's a foul, a reach-in foul on Cami Marshall. Again, they obviously are letting them play anyway. Grace Tyra fakes and drives, and that's off the Panthers. It'll be Redbird ball. And again, great crowd tonight. We don't have the official number, but this has got to break the Brianna Morrow era attendance record. Alana Terry to Kayla Pesha. Grace Tyra almost traveled. Pesha to Terry. Trying to go across the floor, now drives. Terry for two, banks it in. Alana Terry for two, and it's a 2-point game. 14-12 Panthers, 3:47 until the break. Press almost forces a turnover. Got to be careful on the reach-in foul. Terry tips the pass, stolen Pesha. Redbirds can tie or take the lead this possession. Kayla Pesha to the hoop with contact, no good. Gets her own rebound. Lawmandeer, three ball. No good. And another rebound, Claire McDougall. Boy, she's been pretty darn good in that department here in the opening, well, about 16 minutes. Cami Marshall, turnaround two, no good. Rebound, Kayla Pesha. Redbirds have numbers, but they got to hurry. Lawmandeer, Ramage for two. Good, we're tied. Timeout, Panthers. Washington calls a full timeout as the Redbirds have come back here. 14-all. So, let's see. 9-2, or 9-3 rather, Metamora this quarter. And boy, I think Washington has continued the defensive pressure. I still think Claire McDougall has been great in the rebounding. I think, Metamora's got to try and neutralize her going forward, because when the Panthers have been getting good quality looks underneath and potentially second, third chances, it's mainly been because of the rebounding of Claire McDougall. So if the Lady Redbirds at least make a good attempt at neutralizing that, that takes away those second, third chances, and you're maybe only talking one-shot possession, which would be great if you're the Lady Redbirds. Again, Washington playing good ball, coming off that overtime loss to Pekin. Lady Redbirds are on a 7-game winning streak entering tonight's game, not having lost since the probably mentioned all too many times Dunlap game back on December 17th. McDougall to Duncan. Marshall. Down low, Claire McDougall. Kick out Leah Jones. Long two is short. Rebound, Katie Ramage. Redbirds can go for their first lead. Ramage to Tyra. Pass is tipped, and a foul on Georgia Duncan. More foul trouble for the Panthers. That's Duncan's second, team's ninth, and the Lady Redbirds will shoot one in bonus here, but they're also in double bonus the rest of the half. Grace Tyra, one in bonus. Kaylee Baker back in and replacing Georgia Duncan. But boy, I know Duncan's in foul trouble, but she's one of those players that I, along with hopefully many others in the Peoria area, saw right from the first time she put on a Washington High School basketball uniform. That's off Ramage, so it'll be Panther ball. But you knew she was going to be something special. And obviously Washington's got a lot of young talent. That's why this rivalry is going to be at its best here in the next couple of years. Marshall to McDougall. Nice defense on the sideline by Pesha. Baker to Marshall. Open three ball. No good. Nice clear out and subsequent rebound by Katie Lalamandeer. Now Katie Ramage for the lead, for three. No, technically not over the backboard, so Panthers could save that, and they do. Marshall traveled and stepped out of bounds. Lexi McClure returns, and New entry for the Panthers, number 22, Liv Mendoza. Mendoza, a 5'8" junior forward for the Panthers. 2:15 to go until the half. Low scoring affair here. These two arch rivals duke it out on a Tuesday, Tuesday night. I'm like, what am I thinking? Lexi, up top, Grace. We're at the 2-minute warning. Alana Terry, wanting to go down low to Kayla Pace, is gonna have to take it herself. Lexi McClure off the screen. Kick out Grace Tyra, 3-ball. No good. Rebound Alana Terry. Reset, Katie Lamondier to the hoop. Back to Alana Terry. Alana baseline. Flips it up. Oh, no good. Did about everything she could on that one. Haley Baker sideline. Lost control of the basketball, and that's going to be Redbird ball. So Grace Tyra on the inbound. With 1:33 to go, Redbirds can take a lead here late before before halftime. Lamondier to McClure. Fakes out Baker. Down low Pasha. Turnaround two with contact. No good. Can't draw the shooting foul somehow. And it comes into the hands of Leah Jones. Now Claire McDougall to Kaylee Baker. Mid-range two. Has space. Doesn't get it to go. Rebound Lexi McClure. 1 minute to go in the half. McClure to Lamondier. Now McClure again. 3-ball. No good. Rebound Kaylee Baker. Redbirds have gotten much more good looks in this quarter than they did in the first. 50 seconds, tied at 14. Jones, turnover, stolen by McClure. Technically did not go over and back. Barth is not right about that because she only had 1 foot over. Shooting foul, Pasha to the line. It's on Liv Mendoza, that's her first, team's 10th. By the way, Coach Barth, one of my favorites. I'd put probably, I really don't have a problem with any of the coaches in the middle line. I always like, making an effort to go and talk to them pregame. And good to talk with Coach Barth before the game as well. Obviously a big night for both teams. They're gonna have to check Allie Scrivener out for injury and Caitlin O'Mara into the game. Double bonus, Kayla Pasha. First one, no good. One more free throw for Kayla to give the Redbirds the lead. It's good. Lady Redbirds lead, 15-14. Again, the story of the second quarter has become how much foul trouble has come to the forefront for the Panthers. Baker to McDougall, back to Baker, in the lane, no good, but an easy rebound and put back for O'Mara. 13 seconds, Redbirds shoot to take the lead back, 16-15 Panthers, down the 10. Lamondier to Tyra. Tyra to Terry. Long three, Terry, oh, no good, it was on target but doesn't fall. Very low scoring half here in Metamora. Halftime score 16 for the Panthers, 15 for the Lady Redbirds. We're going to see if we can get a halftime interview. If not, we definitely will have halftime stats. But either way, we'll be back in just a few. All right, back here at halftime in Metamora, and with the Redbirds and Panthers squaring off, we couldn't think of another alumni to talk to other than Ann Peters. And first of all, great to have you back. Great to see you back at another game. And I mean, obviously, barring any potential scheduling conflict, you were probably had this one marked on your calendar in terms of if you could make it, that you'd definitely be here, right?
Oh, for sure. When I saw especially that I was going to be a fundraiser for Vidal, I'm close with that, with Ish and Vidal. So I knew if anything, I did need to make it out tonight, even with the short break that we got for basketball and school.
What's it like being back here? I know I feel like I've asked every alumni that question, but it's got to be kind of weird that first time or two coming back to see another game.
It is. My first time actually coming back was to work part of the Galesburg tournament that was played here, and Reagan, Olivia, and I worked the shot clock, and so that was my first time, and it was very weird. It was almost just like, oh, we're probably going to be playing next, got to get ready, but nope, you're just kind of there to work. But I told my parents before the game, I said, wait, I just realized I have to actually pay to get in the game. I can't just come in with my student ID or just say I'm a basketball player or anything. So it's definitely a different experience, but I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love watching these young girls and them succeeding and improving.
Well, let's kind of talk about that for a moment, because we didn't know what to expect going into this season. I don't know if you know the exact number. It's over 1,000 points between the 4 seniors that we lost going into this season. But yet they're on a 7-game win streak. They've won 11 of their last 12. I mean, they seem to not have missed a beat. What impresses you the most about, kind of rebounding from losing what we lost last year?
I've always said that all the younger girls, especially playing with them last year with just a winning culture they came from, even with playing with each other at Germantown and then playing with each other during the AAU season, I think having that team chemistry off the bat, I mean, all of them played for the same even Lexi and Alana, with them being the 2 upperclassmen that are playing, they all played together with the younger girls too, and I think that chemistry, you can see it really show on the court, and just the driving and kicking and knowing kind of who your shooters are, giving Alana or Kayla in the post the ball, trusting that they'll go up with the strong shot. And I definitely think the chemistry is a lot better just seeing that those girls have been playing together for the past year or two, and it's been really great just seeing them move the ball in ways that I feel like we got stuck last year in just moving the ball, because we all didn't get that same experience with playing with each other for that long. But I've been enjoying it. I hope they win this game, and I hope they keep on winning and creating a new culture.
Being a rare occurrence of somebody that's experienced this rivalry from both sides, what makes this rivalry so special? Because I feel like no matter what sport or extracurricular activity it is, records are out the window, past performances are out the window. It's just Metamora versus Washington. So could you kind of speak to that in terms of just the significance of a Metamora-Washington game?
I think Metamora, Washington, they've been rivals since back when I was even just watching my brother play, with it just being on the other side of the highway. It's always great to see them, whether it's on your home court or their home court. You just know that you have to come into this game, that there's probably going to be a little bit more fans than other games, and you have to just play with confidence and composure and know that every shot that you take, you just have to take advantage of it and knock it down with confidence and just give it all you got, play hard for your teammates and for your coaches, and know that you gave it your all no matter if it's a win or a loss. Oh my gosh.
We just had one of our assistant principals nail a half-court shot, and he's getting mobbed by some students on the floor. Well, that'll give us some momentum going into the second half, right? But
I also think you have to take this game, too, as any other game. I mean, you don't want to get yourself too worked up knowing that you're going to be playing a rival school, especially with the atmosphere you know you're going to be facing. And like I said, just come in it with confidence and composure, and you should be all right, especially with the team that you see here. Both girls have played with each other for a long time, and they're young, and they have a lot of fresh talent, and it's been a very fun game to watch.
Obviously, this is a great crowd. I think roughly this has got to be one of, if not the biggest crowd that we've had since Coach Morrow became our head coach 6 years ago, which is pretty impressive on its own. But it's bigger than basketball tonight, too.
Oh,
and
yes.
You said you're close to Polinos as well. Could you kind of speak to just what that part of this means, too, and how many people have come out here for that cause as well?
I knew, even with it being a Washington Metamora game tonight, I had a choice to even just go back to school tonight, and classes start Thursday. I could get myself settled in tomorrow, have all day, but when I saw that it was a fundraiser for V, I felt just that I had to go, and I was blessed enough to even have this break to come tonight. I got the chance to meet V and Vidal and Ish through when I moved here junior year. I became friends with Ish, and through just some mutual friends, and then I got close with Vidal when he became our team manager senior year. And just since then, I've always been supportive of their careers with their music. I always am the first one to just be there to hype them up. I've never met the parents or their little sister, but I'm close enough with Vidal and Ish to just know that their whole family is one of the most sweetest and caring people you could ever meet. And Vidal was always just there to just pick your head up whenever you were down in a practice or in a game. And of course, we had our bench mob just give us water whenever we needed it. And Ish, I've worked with him on some of his music, and I'm always there for whenever he just needs some scotcheroos from my mom or just needs a little pick-me-up from when he's down. And so I've been very blessed to have known those two boys and to be here tonight just to support V and just to hear about what he's going through and even his family. It definitely breaks my heart, but I know that with the support of this community and the support just with this, even from Washington coming here tonight, just means a whole lot to them. And it's crazy to think that a sophomore in high school has to kind of be sitting there waiting for, something to happen with his heart and just waiting for a transplant. But you just got to know that it's all in God's plan and just keep praying for them and giving them as much support as they need. And like Ish said, that they spent, time in the hospital over Christmas, and I've been spending time in the hospital since, and it's all for a reason, and you just have to pray and faith, not fear. And that's what I've been doing for them. And tonight, that's what I think everybody here should be doing, and it's just a very heartwarming experience.
All right, Ann, we'll let you take the rest of this one in. Good luck the rest of the year at Trinity Christian, and thanks for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you.
All right, we'll let Ann take in the rest of this one. Again, a 2. All right, so back to action here again. Like I said, when I saw all these alumni here, it was pretty much a no-brainer who we were going to talk to. So great to see Ann here at the half. And we're going to have a Redbird foul. By the way, starters for both sides. It's on Lexi McClure. That's her first, team's first. Inbound, the Kaylee Baker 3 is up and short, almost misses everything. Out of bounds to Metamora. So since we didn't get to have much time for stats, here's the scores for both sides. O'Mara with 2, Baker with 6, Duncan with 6, McDougal with 4. And then for the Redbirds, Pasha with 5, Ramage with 2, Terry with 8. Alana Terry inside the lane, flips it out somehow, and then turnover. Kaylee Baker with it the other way to the hoop. Blocking foul on Katie Lallmandeer. So that'll be Katie's second, team second. And free throw attempts on the way for Baker. Second trip to the free throw line for her. First one good. That's the first made free throw by the Panthers in this game. One more free throw for her. That one is good as well. 20-15 Panthers, 6:10 to go in the third quarter. Katie Ramage, almost turned over. Pasha to Terry to Lallmandeer. Redbirds taking their time, and rightfully so. Down low, Terry, 2 is good. Alana Terry having herself a nice game. It's a 3-point game with 5:40 to go in the third. And that's going to be a blocking foul again on the Redbirds. This one's on Lexi McClure. Salving Grace Tyra in. 2 on McClure, 3 on the Lady Redbirds. Georgia Duncan, Allie Scribner. Scribner back to Duncan. Now McDougal. Claire McDougal almost thought about putting that one up. Baker shot is blocked by Alana Terry. Now this is Katie Ramage, cross court. Grace Tyra, Alana Terry at the top of the key. 3 ball, short. And misses everything out of bounds to Washington. 3-point game, 2017. With 5:17 to go in the third quarter. Panthers get it across. McDougal to Wilson. Now Duncan. Into the corner with Scrivener. Thought about the 3. Now Wilson. Wilson over to Baker. Down low, McDougal. Ooh, they could have tried to turn around 2 there, but they don't. Now McDougal has it in the left corner. Trying to create space on the baseline. They give it down to Georgia Duncan on Katie Ramage. 2 is good. 22-17, 4:39 in the third. Grace Tyra to Alana Terry. Now Kayla Pasha. Works it across, Katie Ramage. Off the screen from Katie Lallmandier. Ramage for 3, long. Rebound Alana Terry, put back, good. 3-point game, 4:16 to go in the third quarter. Baker down floor to Duncan. Now to the baseline with Scrivener. Has space. Almost turned over, but McDougal brings it in. Duncan. They add the cut there with McDougal. They keep it out on the wing. Scrivener. Now Duncan. Duncan, long 3 is good. 25-19, 3:46 in the third. Lallmandier over to Tyra. Now Pasha. Back to Ramage. Now Tyra, corner 3 ball. No good, rebound Claire McDougal. Trying to drive baseline. Can't, and turnover, stolen Katie Ramage. Ramage, nice pass, Kayla Pasha on the right block. 2 is good. 4-point game, 3:12 to go in the third. Duncan to Scrivener. Now Baker. Back to Duncan. 3:04 in the third. Wilson. And Redbirds, kind of a joint combination of forcing Washington to spread the floor and then Washington executing that fairly well. Baker, potential for a screen. Works it down low to Claire McDougal, and turnover, stolen Katie Ramage. Ramage to Pasha, that Ramage-Pasha connection, that's going to be off Kayla Pasha, Washington ball. Cami Marshall back in for the Panthers, and Lexi McClure returns from Metamora, replacing Alana Terry. This is Duncan. Up floor to Baker. Duncan again to the hoop. Right past the Metamora defense. Duncan for 2. Still a manageable deficit, 27-21, 2:23 in the third. Grace Tyra fakes and drives. Spins. Kayla Pasha trapped underneath. Lexi McClure keeps her dribble. Ramage screens. Give and go, and that's turnover. Baker. Lexi's got to be careful here. They could have called that. Baker. Up top, Marshall. Now into the wing with Scrivener. On the drive, it's a foul on Kayla. Kayla Pasha picks up her first personal foul and the 4th team foul. Return Leah Yanko to the ballgame. And she'll replace Lexi McClure. Baseline inbound on the way for Allie Scrivener. Looking to get it in, just gets it in time for Cami Marshall. Turnaround 2 for Marshall, no good. A rebound, Katie Ramage. Redbirds don't have that deep down court pass that they've tried a good couple times. This is Lallmandier at the wing. Cross court Ramage, 1:39 to go in the third. Tyra, down low Pasha. Nice move, Kayla Pasha, and the foul. Foul is on Allie Scrivener. That's her second, and just the first foul of the second half on Metamora. We'll see Alyssa Russell for the first time tonight. And then Leah Jones enters for the Panthers. One shot for Kayla Pasha. This would make it a 3-point game. Short. And an easy rebound for Georgia Duncan with 90 seconds to go in the quarter. Redbird defense not going back. Duncan has an easy path to the hoop. Nobody home. 29-23, 1:19 to go in the quarter. A little bit of a defensive laps that possession for the Lady Redbirds. Pasha fakes and gives it to Tyra. Baseline 2, no good. Rebound, Wilson. Redbirds need to stop here. Wilson over to the wing with Marshall. Works it up top, Duncan, 3-ball, good. (32-23), 9-point game. Tyra to Pasha, ooh. That was an excellent look there. We could have taken it to the hoop. Pasha up top, Lallman-Tier to Russell for 3. No good, rebound Marshall. Panthers a likely hold for the last shot here under 30 seconds. Duncan. And we have a holding foul on the Lady Redbirds. It's on Leah Yanko, that's her third and the team's 5th. Alana Terry returns and replaces Kayla Pasha. Baseline inbound on the way for Georgia Duncan. 21.4 seconds in the third quarter and a 9-point Panther lead. Wilson faking down low, goes Duncan. Georgia Duncan kicks it back out. This is Wilson. Over to Marshall, who traveled, used 2 pivot feet. Gets her own rebound, put back on the foul on the way. Cami Marshall shoot 2. Leah Yanko, that's her 4th, and the Panthers are in the bonus. They'll probably just let Leah ride out the next 4.4 seconds and then, well, not even the next 4.4. They're going to bring Katie Ramage in and send Yanko to the bench again. Yanko with major foul trouble and 4 personals. One more free throw, Cami Marshall, that one's good. Not a good quarter for the Redbirds. We've played 3 and we're down 10. Fourth quarter's next. Back here in Metamora, time for the fourth quarter. Redbirds need to come back here in the fourth. It's a manageable one, 33-23 Panthers, and it's Washington ball at the fourth. They send out Allie Scrivener, Kaylee Baker. Let's see here. Claire McDougall, Cami Marshall. My pencil can't hold itself together. Claire McDougall, Cami Marshall, and Georgia Duncan. So Wilson, the lone starter, not on the floor for Washington. McDougall to the hoop, nice move, 2 is good. A big run at the start of the quarter could ice it for Washington. Katie Lallman-Tier to Grace Tyra. See Alyssa Russell on the floor as well. Katie Ramage and Alana Terry. Last quarter of the game here. Ramage to the hoop and lost it. Scrivener on the baseline inbound. This is Duncan. To Scrivener to Baker. Into the middle with Marshall, now Duncan again. Nice double team there, almost forces the turnover, but Duncan regains possession. Baseline 2 for Scrivener is good. .14 game now, 6:48 to go. Got a reminder, Charlie Dreyer back in the booth Saturday. He and I will call the Lady Redbirds at the Lady Potters. 3-ball and Katie Ramage, good. Needed that. 26 for the Lady Redbirds, but they're still down double figures, 37-26, 6:28 to go. Georgia Duncan across to Kaylee Baker. And wide open is Cammie Marshall and throws it off Alana Terry, so the Panthers are going to essentially an extra possession out of that. Lexi McClure and Kayla Pasha in for Alyssa Russell and Grace Tyra. So back to the starting lineup. McClure, Terry, Pasha, Lallman-Deer, and Ramage. Scrivener off the inbound to Duncan. Now Baker on the baseline. To the hoop. Dishes it off. McDougal, long two, no good. Nice box out, Pasha. Nobody home for the rebound. Marshall, two, good. 13-point lead for the Panthers, 5:57 to go. And a timeout for Metamora. 5:54 in the fourth quarter. And the Lady Redbirds, I don't know what it was, but even the scoring just hasn't been there tonight. I mean, they're averaging almost 53 points a game, and they need 27 points in the next 5:54 to tie that. And then it's just, Georgia Duncan's third quarter was incredible. She had 12 of her 18 in that third. The 3-ball hasn't been entirely present, but the Panthers sure have made a couple. 2 for Baker, 2 for Duncan. And out of bounds, Redbirds nearly turn it over. That would not have been how to come out of the timeout, but it's still Redbird ball. This is Katie Lallman-Deer. 5:48 to go. Redbirds need a big push here. Make this one a game again. Lallman-Deer, corner three, McClure. No good. Rebound, Kayla Pasha. 3 for Katie Ramage. No good. And rebound, somebody's got to get it. Kaylee Baker to it. Doesn't have numbers, puts the 2 up, and they don't call anything, and then a late whistle in on the Lady Redbirds. Lallman-Deer, that's her third, team 7th. Free throws for Kaylee Baker. First one up and in. Well, the Panthers haven't gotten to the free throw line a ton tonight, but they got 4 makes. 3 from Baker, 1 from Marshall. Make that 4 for Baker. So the Panthers starting to pull away a little bit. 15-point game, 41-26, 5:23 in the fourth. Got a couple tough games coming up at Morton Saturday, at Canton next Tuesday. Terry for 2. 13-point game, 5 minutes to go. Nice effort, Ramage. Still Panther ball. Duncan to Baker. Back to Duncan. Now Scrivener for 3. Good. Panthers can't miss. We can't hit a shot. 44-28, 4:43 rather to go. Ramage in the corner. Now drives, flips it up with contact, no good, and stolen by Kaylee Baker. Duncan swatted out of bounds by Katie Ramage. 4:23 to go, Panthers by 16. Basically, if you're Metamora defensively and we got an offensive on Washington, you're just trying to get a scoring drought going for the Panthers. Offensive charge to Cammie Marshall. That's her first. Team second. Grace Tyra back in, and she'll replace Lexi McClure. Then the Panthers will also send in Claire McDougall, or Ellie McDougall. Lallemand-Deer with 4 minutes and 22 seconds to go. The clock's not running. We're not going to complain. Kayla Pasha shooting foul. I don't think anybody noticed the clock wasn't running. 2 shots for Kayla Pasha. Foul is on Cammie Marshall. That's her second, team's third. Well, and even the refs aren't saying anything to take the time off, so I think we're just going to let it fly. Pasha's free throw is good, or Alyssa Russell back in for Metamora. Good thing we don't broadcast table side, because then they might hear me saying that. But Kayla Pasha makes a second free throw. And God only knows, it's about 10 seconds. Who knows how that might play into the end of this game if Metamora does at least try to make a comeback here. That might be the story of the game. And that's the funny thing to me. The refs didn't come over and correct the time. Coach Barth wasn't saying anything about the clock not running. Nobody said anything about it. I think, Brad, you and I might have been one of the only ones that noticed in the whole gym. Well, I mean, the Metamora fans might have, but they aren't going to say anything about it, of course. Duncan at the top of the key, trying to drive on Russell. Now finds Baker. Oh, almost stolen. This is Claire McDougall. Tipped out by Grace Tyra. Panthers will have another chance. 3:54 to go, 14-point lead. This is McDougall up top to Cammie Marshall. Georgia Duncan. To Kaylee Baker. 3:39 to go, 14-point lead. Baker to Marshall. Had a count, now doesn't. Up to Baker. I would say if Washington's able to get this to 20 here fairly quickly, that might do it. Baker to Duncan. Down low to McDougall, and that's another foul on the Lady Redbirds. And free throws for Washington. It's on Katie Lallemand-Deer, that's her fourth, team's eighth. And a 30-second timeout called here by Metamora. Well, this has got to be the turning point. 14-point lead for Washington. 3:16 to go. And again, probably should be about 3:06, 3:05, somewhere in there. But as of right now, the Panthers could ice this in the next couple possessions, and that 10 seconds won't matter one bit. In fact, it just gives them more time to pull away. 3:16 to go in the fourth, and 44-30. Again, 7 points this quarter for the Lady Redbirds, 2 for Pasha, 3 for Ramage, 2 for Terry. And on the other side for the Panthers, Scrivener with 5, Baker with 2, McDougall with 2, that's Claire McDougall with 2, and Cammie Marshall with 2 as well. But I think you kind of jointly say for the Panthers, it's been the offense of Georgia Duncan. It's been the defense, the team defense for the Panthers. They've just played all around great basketball. And again, the other thing I mentioned is, I want to say this is exactly how I phrased it. The Lady Redbirds can't make a shot and Washington can't miss. And when you run into a game like that, you're going to get a 14, maybe 20 plus game. So, you got Claire McDougall at the line. I believe it's only 1 in bonus. It is. That one's no good. A rebound, Alana Terry. Katie Lallemand-Deer up in the middle of the floor. 3:10 to go. Need a comeback, and it needs to start pretty quick. Lalamandir to Pesha. Down low Terry. Turnaround 2, no good. And rebound Claire McDougal. You could say Washington kind of needs a score here, because if they do, that pretty much ices it. Marshall. Wilson. Now McDougal. Duncan up top, Marshall. And again, this is a big one, folks, because if you remember last year, Metamora kind of fell into an unfortunate seed of things because they beat Washington at Washington, but the postseason seeds had already been released, I believe, the day of that game. So there's not much they could do about that. And unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that's how things line up again this year. So this loss is going to sting probably more than you'd think. Panthers have every right to use the last bit of the clock, and Lalamandir just fouled out. It's Katie's 5th foul and the team's 9th. So, 1 in bonus for the Panthers. Georgia Duncan, who again already has 18 points. She could, if she makes both, get 20. I'm sure that's happened a time or two for her, again, as talented of a player as she is, but who knows. First one, no good. Grace Tyra to Katie Ramage. Redbird's just trying to at least make it a close final score here. McClure to Pesha, 2 is good. 12-point game, 1:46 to go. Baker up the middle of the floor. Nobody back in the white. Now we got a couple. It's going to be a foul on Alana Terry. It's her first, team's 10th, double bonus for Washington. So Claire McDougal back to the line. She'll shoot 2. First one up and no good. Boy, the Panthers, other than Kaylee Baker, just haven't been able to find their stroke at the free throw line when they have gotten to it. And then a full timeout for Metamora. You know what I just realized? Metamora was given an extra 30-second timeout because they've called 3 30s. You're only supposed to have 2 30s in a full, but that's not a massive deal. I was just looking at my scorebook and I'm going, well, 30, 30, 30, huh? And either way, Metamora gets a full timeout there with 1:38 to go. So presumptively, it's a full. You see there on the scoreboard, 1 timeout left. Presumptively, it's a full, if I have the count right. Again, there's also a possibility that third 30-second timeout was reversed to a full, and I never found that out. But again, good set of games coming up. Next game that'll be on our airwaves Saturday at Morton. Then we will not hit the air again until January 24th at Pekin. Canton, I won't be able to make, well, I'll be at that one, but not with full broadcast abilities. Then East Peoria, I won't even be in town. Then Pekin, I'll be back in town for that one at Hawkins Gym, which should be a pretty decent game. Obviously, Pekin's going to be revitalized a bit with Taylor Goss back in the lineup. And I'm told they had a couple girls that were sitting out because of missing practice over the holiday or something of that nature. So they're obviously going to be a much rejuvenated team from the last meeting between the Redbirds and the Dragons. So that'll be a fun one to look forward to January 24th as McDougal misses both. Rebound Alana Terry. That's off Baker, out of bounds to Metamora. And of course, our next 2 broadcasts, one more time. Charlie Dreyer and I call Metamora at Morton this Saturday. Then I'll be back on the solo call January 24th at Pekin. Then we'll revisit the rest of the schedule as it comes to us. McClure, 2, no good. Rebound to Claire McDougal. And Lexi McClure just intentionally fouled, but they didn't call it. Now they call it on Alana Terry. So technically the team's 11th foul of the half. and Claire McDougall. That one's good, so she gets her first free throw made. 13-point game. Redbird's winning streak's going to end tonight. And that one's good. Good thing about this portion of the winning streak ending, though, is it's against a team, a very quality team. I think everybody knows Metamora should not have lost that Dunlap game. But this is a very good team. And Alana missed the 2. Probably aren't going to call a foul at that point. And Duncan with it. Ramage with the foul. Her first team's 12th double bonus for Washington. And again, this one's going to sting big with postseason seeds. It's going to be a full timeout for Metamora. Their last timeout with 1 minute flat to go. And again, the reason this one stings so much is because this, I mean, it's either going to determine, which regional we're in. Now, does this game end up sending us to Kankakee, or does it end up sending us to Washington? Either way, we're going to either go to Kankakee or Washington for the regional. Kankakee is a really, really good team. I saw them at the State Farm Holiday Classic. They have girls like, off the top of my head, Ambernette Storr. Who's the other one I'm missing? There's probably a couple of y'all at home that know who I'm talking about, but there's two. They have 2 real good studs on that team that could carry them quite a ways in the postseason. And obviously that would be a very tough regional. You could also see the potential for Morton in that Kankakee regional. And obviously that would be a very good game as well. Metamora out of timeouts with a minute to go. Georgia Duncan at the line. Double bonus. First one good. Panthers are pretty much iced at this point. Haven't seen a team get 15 points in a minute before. That'd be fun if we did, though. Georgia Duncan, 2 for 2 that trip, and she's no-brainer been the best offensive player for Washington tonight. That's going to be out of bounds to Washington. Whew. Well, take what you can from this one. Go to Morton on Saturday. Out of bounds to Washington. At least try to give the Lady Potters a run for their money. I know it's going to be tough, but at least give it our best shot. Baker to Duncan. Now Wilson. Fouled by McClure. Double bonus on the way. So that's 3 on Lexi, 13 on the Lady Redbirds. Wilson to the line to put the dagger a little further into this one. That one's no good. That one's no good as well. Good, not too great of a shooting night for the Panthers from the free throw line. That's about their only flaw in this entire game. Katie Ramage thought about the 3. Any shot's a good shot at this point. Alana Terry for 2, and it's good. Boy, have a game, Alana Terry. Kind of a quiet 16 points and a 14-point loss, but a very good game for Alana nonetheless. See if I can confirm with her dad here post-game how close that is to her career high. I'm sure it's pretty close. Cammie Marshall, Sia Wilson. Now tipped out Caleb Pasha, and Panthers will likely drain the clock out on this one. Redbirds with a best attempt in this one. But again, the shots just wouldn't fall, and Washington was just too much to handle tonight. That's going to be your final score. Washington 48, Panthers 34. Back with the postgame show in a bit. All right, back here in Metamora, Alex Dobb with you as we get ready to wrap up. We're going to start with end of the game stats for Metamora, and unfortunately, it's going to be pretty brief. Lexi McClure, 3 fouls, no points. Grace Tyra, 0 for 1 from the line, no points. Katie Lallemand-Deer fouled out, scoreless. Leah Yanko, 4 fouls, no points. Kayla Pasha, 1 foul, 4 twos, 5 for 8 from the line, 13 points. Katie Ramage, 1 foul, 1 2, 1 3, 5 points. Alana Terry, our player of the game, 6 twos, 4 for 6 from the line, 2 fouls, and 16 points. You heard that right, just 3. Lady Redbirds found the scoring column tonight. 11 twos, 1 3, 9 for 15 from the free throw line were the Lady Redbirds, all the while committing 16 fouls and the 34 points. See if we can get the Washington stats in before Coach Morrow gets up here. 1 2 for Allie Scrivener, I should say. 1 2, 1 3, 2 fouls and 5 points. Caitlin O'Mara, 1 2, 2 points. Ellie McDougall, 2 fouls and no points. Kaylee Baker, 2 threes, 4 for 6 from the free throw line, 10 points. Georgia Duncan, 6 twos, 2 threes, 2 for 3 from the free throw line. Let's see here. It's good for 20 points. Lucia Wilson, that's 0 for 2 from the free throw line, 2 fouls and no points. Liv Mendoza, 1 foul and no points. Claire McDougall, 3 twos, 2 for 5 from the free throw line, 8 points. Let's see, and then Cammie Marshall, 1 2, 1 for 2 from the line, 3 points. See how quickly I can do my team math here. For the Panthers, 12 twos, 5 threes, 9 for 18 from the free throw line. That's good for a perfect 50%. And they totaled 48 points. So, Metamora outscored by Washington 11-5 in the first. Redbirds turned it around in the second, 10-5. They outscored the Panthers in quarter number 2. Then in the second half, all Washington. Panthers outscored Metamora 17-8 in the third quarter, 15-11 in the fourth quarter. Setting up our final score from Tepke Gym. Panthers 48, Redbirds 34. Now, we're not done just yet. We're going to talk to head coach Brianna Morrow in just a little bit. But we're going to take a quick break and be back with Coach Morrow. Again, that does it for end of the game stats, but our post-game interview with Coach Morrow is next. All right, back here in Metamora with head coach Brianna Morrow. And Coach, we couldn't find the basket, and they seemingly couldn't miss. You're good.
Washington played really well. They played incredibly strong tonight. You know, they had just gotten a tough loss to Pekin, where they didn't play incredibly well. But they came back ready to play tonight. And they were tough. And I think they, you know, the third quarter, they had a big third quarter, and we struggled in the third quarter. They had a good first quarter, and we struggled in that one too. So I think, you know, just having those, we've got to be able to start the games well, be able to start games well, and come out and start quarters well are super important, and we've got to do a better job of that.
2 single-digit scoring quarters against a team like Washington's probably not going to get you too far, is it?
No, we've got to be able to run our offense, be consistent, get good shots for us, but we've got to be able to knock down some shots. And the other thing is we've got to be able to defend. You know, we struggled. Kaylee Baker killed us tonight. Duncan killed us tonight. So, you know, being able to do those kind of things, stop the two key kids that we talked about. We know the scouting report. And we just didn't defend those 2 kids really well. We would defend them really well in spurts, but then after that, we did not. So that's got to be, those things have to be key. You know, when we would get some buckets, we'd get a score. We couldn't get a stop. You know, we'd let them come down and score. And so we kind of tried to trade baskets, but at that point it was too late. You can't be trading baskets. And so we've got some things we need to work on. We're a very young team. And so this was good for us to kind of figure out what we need to work on, and come back ready to handle that.
3 people hit the scoring column. I'm sure that's another thing that you'd probably like to have seen that number probably be a little higher than 3, right?
Yeah. You know, we were trying to get the ball inside and letting those kids score, but those kids, you know, didn't take every shot tonight, and we've got to have some other kids that can be able to step up. We did not shoot the ball well from the perimeter tonight. Now Washington didn't give us a ton of open looks, but we've got to be able to, we got to be able to knock down some shots, and we didn't knock down a lot of shots tonight, and we got to be able to hit from the perimeter.
I know we probably aren't able to get this official number, but this has got to be the largest crowd we've had here since you took over.
No, it's got to be a while. Yeah, and that was great. I'm so glad that we had a big crowd for V. That was awesome. He deserves every single bit of it, and so I'm so proud of them and excited for him.
What does this change going forward in terms of maybe looking ahead at the schedule? Because boy, it doesn't,
right.
It doesn't get any easier from here. You got Morton, who's still number 1 in 3A, just got named number 1 among all 4 classes. Oh, and by the way, it's at their place.
Right.
So how do you try and regroup, especially mentally, from this loss, ending this winning streak, and just got to turn around and go to the Potterdome, no less?
We talked about, the season's not over. Our season's not over, and we're working on getting better each and every game, for the end of the season. And so, there's a lot of right now detail things. Our kids play hard. I don't usually have to question their work ethic and their hustle. They're out there trying, but there's a lot of detail things, offensively and defensively, that we're missing some of the details, and the details matter. And so those kind of things have to start mattering for us, and we've got to work on some of those detail things about doing things right every single time, over and over and over. And so that's where we're focusing. That's what we've got to work at, because you can't just get by on athletic ability and talent, against these good teams, and Washington is a really incredibly talented team. They've got, some really strong juniors and seniors out there, and then they've got the younger pieces that are added in that are really strong. So for us, it's focusing on the details, taking it one game at a time, and just each day getting better. Each day getting better.
Well, Coach, we'll let you go.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you pregame on Saturday then.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, thanks for your time. That is going to do it from Metamora. Once again, final score, the Washington Panthers 48, the Metamora Lady Redbirds 34. Washington moves to 12-3 overall, 3-2 in the Mid-Illini, while the Redbirds fall to 13-5 overall, 3-2 in the Mid-Illini Conference. It also ends Metamora's 7-game winning streak, having not lost since December 17th, hosting Dunlap. And like I just said with Coach Morrow, it doesn't get any easier from here. Lady Redbirds have to go to the Potterdome this Saturday to face one of the best, well, maybe not even one of, the best team in the state, and becoming one of the top teams in the country. According to Max Preps, Lady Potters are in the 50s in terms of top teams in the country. So they sure are going to be a very tough test for Metamora on Saturday night. Charlie Dreyer and I will be on the call for that one, but for now, I want to thank Coach Morrow for talking to us both in the pre and the post game. I want to thank Ann Peters for coming up at halftime and talking to us as well. I want to thank Brad Marshall for his work on the camera once again. This is Alex Dobbs saying so long from Tepke Gym. Redbirds fall in a rivalry game here on a Tuesday night. Final score, the Washington Panthers 48, the Metamora Lady Redbirds 34. Once again, final score, 48-34 Panthers. Want to thank you for tuning in tonight. But for now, we say so long from Tepke Gym. Charlie Dreyer and I will see you on Saturday. Lady Redbirds at the Morton Lady Potters. So long from Metamora.